We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 128. Today we're going to talk about the NFL, our pick of the week, the NBA, politics, the game we just witnessed that I got fucked on. The Mouthpiece is next. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. Oh yeah, we'll talk poker too. So I just found a way to get middled on a game. I bet Oregon before the game. I really felt like they were the right side. I watched the first game. I thought they dominated the first game and gave it away. And then they literally were getting the shit kicked out of them. And when Washington led 17-3, I laid 6, and they had the ball. And Washington went right down, and instead of finishing off the drive and being up 24-3 at the half, they kick a field goal and then give up a touchdown. And I knew when it was a 10-point game at the half, I was going to get absolutely middled on the game, which I did. I mean, even getting up 10 with 2 minutes to go, I needed one hold, and they went into a prevent defense. I swear to God, I am fucking going to root so hard for them to get killed by Michigan in the semis. I never hated a team worse than what I just witnessed. The 2-play, 75-yard prevent defense. All prevent does is prevent you from winning. They literally fucking sat back 20 yards deep in a zone. And they still got burned for a touchdown in a zone defense. That just goes to show you how... That's a fucking joke. Anyways, so I found a way to lose a double on a game that I bet $2,000 on, and I'm not happy. Anyways, then, it's not going well. I took a piece of a friend of mine who's playing in the Big Hustler Casino live game, and I'm trying to get him to get up because the game is now 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, which I knew it was going to be. And so, he's drawing dead. I mean, it's fucking 2,000 minimum to see a flop. Or more than that, 2,000 around without any raises. And he's got 200,000. Like you need like $1 million to be sitting in the game. And but I can't get a hold of him, and I just can only hope that he wins. But I don't know how he could win because, like, if he enters a pot, everyone's going to fold because he's just fucking playing scared. But I'll pull for him anyways. Let me turn off this fucking stupid fucking thing. And this fucking bullshit. Anyways, so NFL Sunday, I'm pretty confident in my pick of the week. We win last week. We win both games last week. The amazing part is the 2 games I gave out, we win, and I went 3-7 last week. Oh no, I won the chart. I went 4-6. So at least we're winning the games we're betting. That's really pretty good, I guess. And so, anyways, I feel pretty good about our pick of the week. I really do. Hang on one second. Hey, do me a favor, Danny. Grab me my pill case. I don't think I took my pills before I came in here, and I haven't took my pain pill and my side's hurting. Anyways, poker, I ended up taking last week off like I told you I did. Came back in this week, lose 37,000 day one, and won back 10,000 yesterday. So I'm down 27,000 for the week. To go with my 4K in sports betting, I'm not happy. And that's where we sit right now. I didn't think I took my pill. And anyways, but I'm only mad because I wanted to get off of Oregon. I didn't think they had a chance. Like Washington dominated both sides of the line of scrimmage, but instead of being up 27-3 at the half and game over, it was a 10-point game, and I knew I was getting middle right then and there. I mean, they still, even the second half, they dominated. I mean, yeah, Oregon was able to move the ball, but they never stopped Washington one time. I mean, Washington scored on every possession, pretty much. And I'm probably going to be at the win, buddy. And if it wasn't for the complete debacle right before the end of the half where they got a field goal instead of a touchdown and then give up the touchdown in like a minute, that was everything. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten middled in the game. I mean, I knew Washington was the right side. Even at halftime when they made it 7.5, I thought Washington was the right side. But then when Washington went up by 4, if they call that a strip sack, who knows? Oregon might just cover the game. I mean, that was crazy. I thought it was for sure a strip and a fumble. They said his arm was coming forward. I watched it 5 times. I still thought it was a fumble. But anyways, that's my own fault for getting involved with college sports that I know nothing about. A friend of mine put me on that game, told me that this was the bet of the year. And even though we were hoping to lay like 7 on the game, he said it didn't matter, that Washington had no chance. Well, he was wrong. So, yep. Poker, bad week so far. Sports, we were having a good week. We made one bet this week. I bet Seattle for 1,000 on Thursday. I almost lost that one too. And I needed them to win outright. And somehow they found a way to lose that game. What do you guys think of that game? So 4th and 1, Pete Carroll calls a handoff 5 yards back in the backfield, which if he gets the first down there, the game is over. Or if Lockett don't drop the wide open pass to the 30, the game is over. And I have Seattle over 9 preseason, and that is officially done. Need a miracle to get a push. I can't believe Dallas won that game. And then after the 4th down debacle, they look what they did at the end of the game there. So then they let Dallas score and get a 2-point conversion and go up by 3. Then they get stopped again at 4th down 2 at the midfield. And somehow they have the ball with 1:43 and no timeouts, 3rd and 3, and the fucking moron, McCarthy, throws the ball to the end zone, which makes no sense. You just run it up the middle. If you get 2 yards, you're 4th and 1, then you could go for it. Or if you get first down, the game's over. Or if you get 2 yards and you don't want to go for it, then you could kick a field goal and be up 6, and they only have like 58 seconds left. Instead, McCarthy gave them back the ball with 1:43 seconds. I mean, truly absurd. I mean, I don't even get it. And they actually had a chance. I mean, they were at midfield with 1:16. I don't know who. Then when I was listening to the shows this morning, they were all talking about it. They were like, the 4th down play was the absolute worst play call ever, but McCarthy trying to give the game away was even worse. It's like these guys get paid like $15 million a year and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. It's pretty incredible, actually. I couldn't even believe what I watched last night in that game. Anyways, so let's see. My pick of the week is I feel very confident in this pick, and I really like 3 games this weekend, a lot, but I'm going with one that I really, truly believe in every inch of my bone is the winner, and that's the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, we won last week, plus 3.5. We should have won the game outright. The Bills completely dominated. The fucking Eagles needed and this to go right to win that game. I mean, it was truly unfucking believable. The Bills give that game away. You know, plus I have the Bills to win the Super Bowl. Now they're drawing dead to make the playoffs. I mean, how many games are the Bills going to give away? They're 6-6. They've given away, what, 3 or 4 games? Listen, I'm going to give you guys some stats. All right? Teams that are on the field, defense on the field for 90 plays and play an overtime game the week before are 3-10 the following week against the spread. Lifetime. Small sample, but pretty big. They've played a brutal game against Kansas City where they should have lost, the Eagles. They played a brutal game against the Bills where I don't think they win the game more than 1 out of 1,000. And now they got to play, not only they're playing a rested San Francisco team. San Francisco is on 10 days rest. 10 days rest. The other team's coming off an overtime physical, emotional battle. And in all honesty, if they win the game next week against Dallas, it's all that matters. Now, people will say, well, that's not true. If they lose this game and then they lose to Dallas and they got 3 losses, well, then San Francisco gets home field if they win out San Francisco. But, I mean, I just don't know how they can. And Cox is out. Johnson's out. They have 3 starters out for this game. And San Francisco has 0 starters out for this game. So I laid 2.5. The line is now 3. You can buy it to 2.5, lay $1.25 if you're worried about spread. Which, I mean, I don't think I really believe you could lay the alt lines, lay the 8.5, lay the 13.5. I think the Eagles are. Well, here's another stat. So one of the people like I follow, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of things going on. And one guy that's 9-3 this year on his picks has San Francisco first half as his best play of the week. And I get it. Look at the Eagles. Like the last 2 weeks, they were just down 10 at halftime. They've been down 10 at halftime, 3 out of 4 weeks, 4 out of 5 weeks, something like that. They also, another thing about this game too is it's going to be in rainy, cold weather again. And they were in rainy, cold weather last week. I just think everything favors San Francisco in this game. I will be in absolute shock. Now, also you have to put in the revenge factor. The fact that San Francisco believes that Purdy blowing his arm out in the first drive of the game cost them the Super Bowl. I mean, Aoki, all of them were talking all the shit, how they can expose Philly's defense and they're not that good, and they feel they had the Super Bowl stolen from them. And that's another thing. San Francisco this year against the spread. Okay, they're what? They're 9-3. I think I heard they're like 10-1 in the first half, or some ridiculous number against the spread. So, a guy I kind of respect and follow has his best back of the week as Frisco first half. I have my bet of the week. It's Frisco. A lot of I can't really tell you some things, but a lot of the super duper sharp people that I know have moved this line from an opening of 1.5 to a solid 3 right now. So there you go. That's my pick of the week. It was my pick of the week before I did all the studying and all these ridiculous numbers that all favor Frisco in this game. Like I've never seen so much analytics favor one team. It's unreal. And when the line opened, people were like, "Did you see the line? Frisco's 2.5, 3 in Philly." And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, what'd you think they were going to be? Have you watched Philly every week? They're life and death. They're They easily could have 4 losses, maybe 5. I know they find a way to win, and that's a sign of a great team. But I don't think they're winning this game. So that's my best pick. My next best pick is a very interesting pick. I like Washington at home getting 9.5 against Miami. Miami is 0-7 in December under Tua. They're 0-7 the last 7 games under 50-degree weather. It's going to be rainy in the 40s. And I like the teams that got crushed last week on Thanksgiving. Washington at home has been a much better team than Washington on the road. Howell's able to score points. People will say, well, the Miami defense is trending upward. Oh, they allowed 14, 13, and 17 the last 3. Yeah, against the Giants, Carolina, and the Jets. So, I'm not sold on it. So I like Washington plus 9.5. My second best pick. And I also am playing my third best pick are the Texans -3. I think they're for real. I don't think Denver's for real. I think they won 3 out of the 4 games of this 5-game winning streak. They shouldn't even have won. The only one they should have won was last week against the Browns. And then my other pick is my fourth. I haven't even come up with my fifth yet. For that I'm putting it at circa is the Jets plus 2.5 against Atlanta. Atlanta shouldn't lay 2.5 against anybody on the road. The Jets are coming off their bye, and Atlanta is an abomination. I mean, I don't even know how they won last week. They're just terrible. Their defense is terrible. Their offense is terrible. I think they got the wrong side favored. Even though the Jets' offense has been horrible, the quarterback having a bye week and 2 weeks to prepare, I think he plays better, and Atlanta's not very good. So those are the 4 games I'm playing on circa, with my top pick being San Francisco. And I'm going to play one more on circa. I forgot who it was, though. I'm taking I'm taking 6.5 with Arizona against Pittsburgh, and that's kind of a stupid bet, I think, but I don't think Pittsburgh's that good. They played great last week, but they haven't won. That's the only game they won by more than 3 points all year, and we'll see. The Sharps have moved that line from 5.5 to 6.5, but that's just my gut feeling. But that's just like my last pick of the pick. But the only one I'm betting is one game. I'm only betting the San Francisco game, and I'm betting first half San Francisco. That's it. I'm not betting any other game. That's it. Maybe I bet 1,000 on Texas or Washington, but I doubt it. So pick of the week. See if we can go to what are we? 11-2. Yeah. See if we can go to 12-2. Pretty good year. Pretty unbelievable, actually. I still think we would have won the Cincinnati game if Burrow doesn't fucking blow out his elbow early in the game. I really do. But who knows? Anyways, so poker, bad week so far. Still have tonight. Well, probably tomorrow and Sunday. I don't think the game's going to go tonight. Maybe it will. And hopefully we turn this around. I don't like having losing weeks, but I did play bad on Wednesday and played much better yesterday, even though I got stuck big again yesterday. But like I tell everybody, you play bad, you lose. You play good, you win. That's just the way I believe. I mean, yeah, you can get unlucky, but like they're playing bingo in the Hustler Casino live game tonight. I mean, it's 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 every fucking hand. And it's pretty crazy. They're just flat out gambling. It's just insane. I always run good. I never every tournament I lose. I never get unlucky. It's always me making a mental error. I don't believe in running bad. I believe you make your own luck and you play good, you win. That's all. So, yeah. So let's see what else is going on. Not much going on in the NBA. The stupid in-season tournament's ridiculously stupid. My Lakers, they look like absolute dog shit. Any good team they play, they lose. They lose to every good team. I mean, OKC kicked the shit out of them yesterday. They're terrible. They have no shooters. They loaded up getting shooters in the offseason and nobody could shoot. It's unbelievable. I don't even understand how bad my Lakers are. But they're better than your Spurs, Garza. What have they lost? 15 in a row? 14 in a row? God, they're terrible. The kid's going to be good, though. So I'm supposed to go to Houston and play on the stream with Phil. I played the last 2 days. I might fly out tomorrow. I don't know. I've been in a lot of pain. Come on, you can't play LeBron. LeBron's played great. LeBron's probably still top 5 player in the league. He's been unbelievable this year. Yeah, the loss of Vanderbilt hurts, but that's not going to help. They can't shoot. They're last in the league in three-point shooting, 31st of 32nd. They can't shoot. You don't need good cards to win. You just need to be patient. The cards come for everybody. The cards come for everybody. You just need to be patient and pick your spots and not punt when you're beat. Everybody's going to get the fucking same amount of cards. It's he who plays them right. That's all. That's a good question about Cuban. I'm starting to believe he's going to run for president. Why else is he divesting all his shares? He wanted to run for president in 2020. If he runs for president, he's going to run. I don't think he's going to run as a Democrat. He's going to run as a Republican because Adelsons are the biggest GOP donors in politics. So I think that there's, they're all in on anyone but Trump. And Mark Cuban is somebody that has the celebrity clout that could take Trump down. So I'm not sure I'm right, but somebody brought this up and I tweeted about it yesterday. Like, why else would he divest his shares, sell all his shares, but still be able to run the team? Or at least not, have all decision making. So that's a long shot. I do know that they plan on opening a big casino in Dallas when it becomes legalized in Dallas. So that's another thing going. So I'm not quite sure on that. I was even thinking of going to Atlantis as much as I hate it. And I looked at the schedule, and it's just all no-limit events. Like, why would I ever travel to play no-limit hold'em events and high rollers? I mean, if I'm going to play no-limit hold'em events, just play them at the Wynn. They're going to have a lot more people, a lot more, way bigger prize pool. So, yeah, I might not even play the big one. I mean, I think I will, but, I might not. I haven't decided yet. I got to get a scooter brought down there. And I think the tournament started today.
I'm not sure.
Or yesterday, the 30th. What's today, the 1st or 30th?
Yeah. Today's the first.
Yeah, so it started yesterday. Cuban's not a lefty. He's always been in the middle. He's actually always said he wanted to run as a Republican, but not until Trump was out of office because he didn't think he was beatable. And that's why he didn't run in 2020. But I think Trump is very vulnerable. And and the Adelsons, they put all the money in GOP politics. So it just makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me. You watch the DeSantis fucking Newscum debate yesterday. I mean, Newscum is the absolute scum. He's the worst human being. I mean, I think I'd rather vote for Biden over Newsom. I'm serious, too. Cash games. Nobody wins in tournaments. Like nobody. Like half of 1% wins in tournaments. Nobody wins in tournaments. The only reason why tournaments are popular right now is because the economy is so bad and people are trying to hit a lottery ticket. That's all. It's the only reason why. That's why they get all these thousands of people for the mystery bounty, because you don't have to win the tournament. All you have to do is get to day 2 and pick a fucking envelope. And since winning a tournament's like picking an envelope, they turn tournament poker into picking an envelope. So, but Biden's not running the country. I mean, Biden's completely brain dead. He's got full-blown dementia. And, I was reading a lot about it. I'm just wondering, do I lose my bet that Biden is running or not? Because the rumor now has it that they're going to run a primary with nobody running against Biden, and at the convention they're going to replace him with Newsom or Michelle Obama. Now, if that happens, do I lose my bet? Because, if you don't run a primary and you don't campaign and they change you out, I'm just wondering. Yeah, Newsom, he literally, they can say what they want about Trump, but Trump never banged the wife of his best friend. And that's what Newsom did. No, he did. He was married to Kimberly Guilfoyle,
We don't know for sure that Trump never did that.
Wait. When he's married to Kimberly Guilfoyle, which is Don Jr.'s fiance, what a world we live in. He cheated on her with his best friend's wife. I don't know, man. He's a good talking politician. He's a total pile of shit. Well, I fell for the Oregon -9.5. So I don't know how they were favored by 9.5. Then I laid 6 on Washington. How'd I do? Oh, I got fucking middled. Oh, because they gave up a 2-play 75-yard prevent defense touchdown. That's why. What a joke. Anyways, that Oregon defense I thought was great. Wasn't great. It was terrible. I mean, I thought that they made so many mistakes in the first game and just handed the game away in Washington. I just thought on a neutral field that they'd fix those mistakes. I was wrong. Yeah, the scum was married to Kim Guilfoyle. He cheated on her with his best friend's wife. That's a true story. Go look it up. The world is so sick. The anti-Semitism in the world is so sick. At least we now know who all the Jew haters are. It's the 25% on the left and the 10% on the right. So you have 25% on the left and 10% on the right. But I always told you the far left and the far right were just disgusting human beings, and you had to understand that. And when I first got involved with politics, I got pulled way far right into that far right circle, and then I saw a lot of bad things. And even when the war started, I saw the 10% of the people that I followed that would say bad things about Israel and say anti-Semitic shit, and I unfollowed them. And but the brainwashing in our universities and I can't believe that I can't even know where to begin. And Biden doesn't know what to do. The Democrats don't know what to do because 74%, of all the Jews vote Democrat. And now he has to balance between the 25% of the anti-Semites and all the Jews that vote Democrat. He's got a problem. The Dems have a problem on their hand. I don't know. Yeah, you just hit it right on the far left and the far right. Both reject God. I agree with you. It's very true. Yeah. The greatest thing I seen this week was Elon Musk telling the people on MSNBC, if you don't want to advertise with us, go fuck yourself. Come on. You guys got to admit that was the greatest fucking video of the week. I love at the end when he says about humanity. He goes, what is it? I care about people who try and help the world, not people who pretend to help the world that don't care about anybody. You know? Yep, 2023, they're marching through the streets. London, Washington, gas the Jews, 2023. There were 17 people with tiki torches in Charlottesville in 2017. The media didn't shut up about it for 2 years. Jews will not replace us. These people are all yelling, gas the Jews. From the river to the sea, gas the Jews. It's pretty sick. You know, they're saying Elon Musk was an anti-Semite. It's the biggest joke. But at least, that just shows what a good heart he has. He says, listen, I used the wrong words, and it was probably the biggest mistake tweet I ever made. But when he was in Israel last week, he showed how much he cares. And I know how much he cares, so I didn't buy the bullshit anyways. And I'm telling you guys, to the day I die, I'm 55 years old. By the time I'm 85, if I make it that long, remember this. Elon Musk will go down in history, just like Abraham Lincoln that freed the slaves, of the man who saved free speech and the man who saved this country. That's all I got to tell you. I don't care if you like his politics. I don't care what you like about him. The fact that he has exposed the censorship regimes all over the world that were literally censoring people's speech for political gain think about it, you guys. I can't say what I want to say here on YouTube because I get another strike, I lose my channel. In the United States of America. Think about that. The only free speech platform is Twitter, X. Where before everything you said was being censored. 90% of all stuff on the right was taken off the platform pre-2020. That's why they're all worried about Trump winning. And I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose 15,000 to Phil. Trump's going to win. I'm going to lose. Of course I'm going to lose because I made a bet I couldn't lose.
He bet that Trump would win?
Yeah. I laid 3-1 that Trump will not win in 2024. Now, I still don't think he's going to win. I think they'll probably kill him, But, if they don't, he's going to win. And they all know he's going to win. But don't hate on Elon Musk because because you don't like his politics. Because he's really not on the right. He follows people on the right, and he's been red-pilled. But he is still very liberal in all liberal positions. The left has just gone mad, Even talking to a very famous poker player for a while last week, he always voted Democrat, and he was on the left. And he told me that he never in a wild imagination thought in his life he could ever vote for Trump. But what he's seen from the left is the same thing. He really kind of parroted what Elon Musk was saying. And it's just the left has gone mad, you know. They've really gone insane. And for the good Democrats that listen to the show, they don't know how insane they've become. And it's, I mean, I literally, honestly, all my values pretty much are probably on the left, even though since you've known me, I've been on the right. But like, the only thing that I don't agree on the left is I don't want government involved in my life. And I don't know why anybody would want government involved with their life. So, you know, I'm against big government. But other than that, I kind of agree on the left with a lot of the gun issues. I agree on the left with pro-choice, even though I'm mostly pro-life. But like I think I talked about it last week, you know, like I'm pro-choice for like maybe 4 months. I'm pro-gay people. I don't care what you do in your bedroom. So, you know, I think most of my issues I'm pretty on the left on, but the left right now is off the rails. I mean, the craziness, the indoctrination of the kids, the trans movement, which is completely insane. Elon cares about humanity. He really does. And like he said, if I lose the company, if it goes bankrupt, the world will just make a decision, you know. Meanwhile, I can't even imagine what Disney stocks fell today after that came out. But anyways, let's take some phone calls.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live.
702-329-0480. Give us a call. Talk to me. Tell me what you want to talk about. Poker, sports, college, playoffs tomorrow, the college championship games tomorrow, NFL Sunday. Can't believe we're in week, what's it? 13. What am I? I'm 11-2, but it's still week 13 because I picked 2 the 1 week because we lost that Thursday game because of Burrow going down. So yeah, week 13, we're 11-2. I'm really proud of myself, like in the sports thing. You know, I'm in this pick'em contest. You have to pick 10 games, which is like impossible. I think I'm in 50th place out of 187. But I'm only 2 games, well, more now. I'm actually like 5 games out of the most games picked, won. I mean, recently I've picked like my first and second picks been winning, and then I would lose my like 8 and my 7 and my 6, and then I would win my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I'd end up with like 30. I'm averaging like 31, 32 points out of 55 a week. I mean, it'd be nice to get a 10-0 week this week. I really, 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 really like these games. Like I really like Texas. I really like Washington. I really like the Jets, and I really like San Francisco. But I don't flog away and bet all these. You can't win betting in the NFL. If you're betting Wow. Yep. The Niners are fucking flat. $1.10 each way now. I laid 2.5 last night. I knew it was going to go to 3, and I just said, fuck it. I'll just lay it. I laid $1.15. Oh, yeah, here's another game I like. I like I like the Packers a little bit. And, they're really playing well. They won 3 out of 4. Everybody's like, oh, the Chiefs are fixed. Well, it's still back-to-back road games. They ain't fixed. They played fucking the Raiders. The Raiders fucking suck. Yeah, they came back from 14-0. But the Raiders suck. They scored 3 more points the rest of the game. I had them as my pick plus 9.5. I led 14-0. Never had a chance. Yeah, so I'm going to go as... I haven't put my circa picks in yet, but I'm going to take Commanders plus 9.5. I'm going to stay away from the Steeler game, I think. I'm going to take Commanders plus 9.5. The Jets plus 2 in circa. San Francisco, Washington, and did I say the Texans or the Packers? What did I say? Let's get that right. Packers are 1. San Francisco 2, Texans 3, Commanders 4, and the Jets 5. Yep, those are my 5 picks in circa. I'll put them in after this stream is over. And I'm gonna go. Like I said, I bet I actually bet a little bit more on this San Francisco game than I've made on any bet in 5 years. I made a double bet on him. I like him so much. I bet 4,000. Oh wow. Okay, so my horse that I took 10% of in the Hustler Casino game is now up 200,000. That's that's 20,000 for Mikey. Yeah. I was begging them to get him out of the game because like the game was playing so big. I hope he quits now. Please quit. Boogie, please quit. I know he's playing fine, but still. Hold on a second. Should he stay?
Tell him to quit and call into the show.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have his phone. They take your phones from you at Hustler Casino. Hold on. I'm getting updates here. Hold on.
Well, if he quits, you get a bet.
I mean, the game's playing monstrous. And by the way, my very good friend, Ryan Feldman, runs Hustler Casino Live. Him, Nick Vertucci, very close friends of mine, do a great job. So if you guys want to watch the high stakes poker, it's going all night tonight for 24 hours. Check it out. That's Hustler Casino Live. And no, I'm not paid to advertise for them, but I care about them a lot. And I've done a lot for them. They've done a lot for me. And when I tell you they're very good people, I mean, they are. Sometimes Ryan does dumb things because he thinks he knows everything, but he's got a heart of gold, and I care about him a lot. So if you want to tune in, you guys could sweat me. Boogie's my horse. And maybe let's see, maybe if he wins $1 million, oh, that would be a lot of money for me. I would like that. Yeah. Maybe he'll win $1 million. I was begging to get him picked up when he was even because the game is, they're literally playing $1,000, $2,000, $4,000. Then they're putting the 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 straddles on it. And he was sitting with 200,000. And I'm like, I mean, if he picks up cards and they pay him off and he holds, he could win a lot, but 200,000. I could never sit in a 200,000 in a 4,000 big blind game. I mean, I remember back in the high stakes poker life, I'd buy in for 100, and we're playing 400, 800. This is way bigger than 400, 800. But, you know, he'd been playing well, and I've been working with him. He's kind of my student. Everybody calls him my student because everybody thinks he's terrible at poker, and I don't. I think he's got a tilt factor that is one of the worst I've ever seen. So I made him make a bet with me that he must get up from a game anytime I tell him, or he owes me a certain amount of money. I don't want to say it on live, but it's a decent amount. And so I felt like because he's mentally weak, that if he's always in position where he has to get up when I tell him, his mental weakness will not take him down. And since we made this deal and we started working together, he'd won 3 straight days in a row in our game, and that's why I took a piece of him today. And he begged me, and originally I wasn't gonna, but I did it, and I feel like I'm working with him. It gives him a little bit of confidence, and he was stuck 130 right away. And now he's up 200, and who knows? Being up 200 and sitting with 400 in front of you, I mean, he could now play a lot more hands, and they punt to him, and he runs good. He could win $1 million. Like now that he's got 400 in front of him. I kind of almost want him to stay. Before when he only had 200 in front of him, and they were making a $4,000 straddle every hand, I didn't want him to stay, but. What's that? What's that? Hang on one second. I'm getting updates. One second, guys. Here. So anyways, all right, so we won't do that. So, hey, how come no calls? Where's the phone call? 702-329-0480. Friday night, give us a call. What do you want to talk about? Poker? We talk about the upcoming the WPT Championship. I'm pretty sure I'm going to play. I'm going to play, and I might go to Houston tomorrow. If I go to Houston tomorrow, I'm going to take the early flight out and play the stream tomorrow night and Sunday night. But I've been in a lot of pain. I do feel pretty good today, which is good. But it's just like, it's so hard for me to travel, man. Boogie's my horse, guys. Boogie. My man Boogie. So you guys have to go. You're sweating me every time Boogie's in a pot. So, yeah. So he's got like 400 in front of him now, so maybe he'll win 400 or 500. And, I feel pretty happy now. I was just worried because, when you're sitting there playing with like 150K and they're making it 2,000, 4,000, 8,000 straddles every hand, or it's tough to win. But 702-329-0480. We always have calls on Friday nights. Give us a call. Was everybody burned out from watching that fucking football game? Or probably everybody's watching HCL. Last I saw they had 20,000 people watching. 20 fucking thousand. We got like 250 between all our platforms. which is a little bit less than normal, but we get between five. When it's all said, we get like 5,000 people every week to watch us. 5,000 is a lot in the poker world, you know.
Hold on, we missed a call. I don't know why it didn't ring. Let me call it.
Well, call him back.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging.
Merry Christmas. And a Happy New Year. All right. And you guys, I really, 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 really like San Francisco this week. And like I said, the one guy I kind of follow, he's 9-3 on his bets this year, and he likes Frisco first half. So I usually don't bet both, but I think I'm gonna. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike. What's up?
Mike, what's up?
What are you doing? Who's this?
So,
Wow.
I got a limited time because I got like 8% right now, but I'm at the bar. But I just wanted to say, I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Poker Go YouTube channel, how they're reposting the.
Yeah, I heard the
archive
2005 main event's been on all week.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to say this quickly. I just got done watching the '05 World Series, Mike. And
Yeah.
you fucking made that entire event fucking so watchable.
Yeah.
I could watch that fucking World Series 20 more times.
And
But
you know I'm gonna win that 95 out of 100, and I'm gonna finish
Exactly.
ninth, and I'm gonna finish ninth 1 out of 10,000 times.
Mike, how about day 5 when you were trolling Sean Sakan? Oh my God, I fucking loved it. I
Yeah.
thought you played excellent, by the way.
I mean, even after the running hearts, what you do know, if I win that hand, I have 85% of the chips 8-handed,
yes,
and it's over. It's over.
yes.
And
I mean, you were the only skilled player at that table.
well, Andy Black and Joe
Correct.
Hatcham were good. I felt that Hatcham was the second best player. Andy Black third. Even though Andy had more experience, Andy was always a guy who blew up, right?
Now, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. How about that CPA, Steve?
The guy Steve
Adelman?
Steve Daneman, yeah.
He's the CPA for
Yeah,
Maryland.
well,
I
listen,
thought he played well too.
You saw me look him right in the eye and say, I know you got ace jack, and call them with
Yeah.
the tens. I mean, if I hold that hand, I had already chipped back up to 5 million. If I hold that hand against Daneman, I'm now back to second or third in chips.
Yeah.
Because I went from 9 million down to 2 million, which I would have had 18 million of. Let's see, there was 58.
Mike, you were.
No, there was
you were
58
fucking
million, and there was 58,660,000 in chips in play. And if I win the hand with the Kings, I'm holding 19 million of the 58 million in play. So what's that?
So give or take, 30-something, 40-something%.
I would have had like,
if I'm not wrong.
maybe it was more. I would have had over 50% of the chips 8-handed because I remember the thing. But even if I win the hand against Daneman, when I pick him off with the tens, I got 10 million of the 58 million.
Yeah.
And we're still,
I mean,
9-handed.
yeah,
So
Poker Go, they were releasing, each day by day, and I'm here waiting. I'm like, let me see day 6. Obviously I knew what happened, but
yeah.
man, Mike, you fucking played amazing. You made it watchable,
I mean,
entertaining. It's like I missed that.
From 2001 to 2005, I was top 3 no limit hold'em players in the world. I mean, it was me, Carlos. It was me, Carlos, Lane Flack. It was me, Carlos, Lane Flack, Huck Seed, and
Huckleberry Seed, yeah.
Me, Carlos, Lane Flack, Huck Seed, and Phil, and then Daniel was right there, sixth probably. We were the top six.
Mike, you know what's almost comical is we're sitting in 2023, and with all the bullshit, with all these softwares and shit, I can still sit there and say, hey, Mike Matisow could fire up a stream in 2023, play one of these online bracelet events, and still fucking,
of course I could.
whether it's cash or fucking final tape, it's almost comical.
Listen, I don't,
like we're talking almost 20 years later, and you could. Still
if I end up losing this week, it'll be my 7th losing week in 48 months. I mean, like,
yeah,
I know what I'm doing. I still play at a very high level. I think my no limit hold'em game is better today than when I was the best or second, third best in the world in 2005.
Yeah. And Mike, you were always primarily cash, right?
I was never a tournament player. I got famous for tournaments because I was good at it. But I played cash. Like everybody played cash to play tournaments to try and get lucky. Like but there was very few. There was like maybe 5% of the people played tournaments for a living, and they were all broke. Like tournament players are always broke, and so
of course.
But I was very feared, and it took me from 07 to even be able to pull a trigger again. Wasn't until 11, and I really didn't get comfortable pulling the triggers, and I'm still not able to pull the triggers like I used to until maybe 3 years ago.
Mike,
because
watching that, you were fucking balls out. Like it was, you made some plays where obviously from a viewer's point of view, I could see the whole cards. I mean, just shoving all in and fucking. Oh my dude!
Well, the 9-5. I mean, I knew. I knew that was a kind of a mistake against Black, but I knew he had a jack, and I knew that he feared me, and I knew when he let out, I didn't think he had two pair. I just thought he weak led. And I thought I could just bomb, and so that was a $2 million mistake. But I just stole like $3 million to get back from the carpet to get back up to where I was at. Yeah. I mean,
Mike, one thing I really wanted to ask you: 9th place, you secure $1 million. I know you said in an interview during the event you were like, "Hey, I'm happy to even make it this far, day 5, day 6." I did see you on the walkout, and I can't sit there and say it was even a walk of shame. I mean, it wasn't, right? Because look at the payoff. I want to ask you.
I cried.
How were you feeling?
I cried forever, dude. I was just devastated.
Of course. It's devastating.
I mean, even in 2008 when I got 30th, I've had a shot to win the thing 4 times. And the way he got me, 30th, like I maneuvered, had the toughest table, couldn't open any pots whatsoever, and the truth of the matter is like if he doesn't hit a 9, I just double through the guy and he punts off all my chips anyways, and I might make the final table in 2008. And the thing about that, when we get it all in. I had ace jack, he had ace 9, a flop ace, and he hit a 9, but the thing about that hand is like that was the first year of November 9. So if I hold that hand and he don't hit a 9 and I make the final table, think about it. That'd have been like 3 final tables in 7 years. And that was the first year, November 9. I would have got fucking, who knows, $2 million a year from Coke or Budweiser, or who the fuck knows what kind of advertising. Because they were throwing out a lot of advertising dollars. And the first year, November 9, would have been worth probably first place money to me. So that was really devastating, And we should have got rid of we got rid of the November 9. What, about 5 years ago now? 4 years ago now? think it was 2018. I mean, it should have got rid of it a lot way before, because the reason why we started the November 9 was so we could get outside advertising dollars, you know, and so that went by the wayside. But yeah, you know, when the guy who ran UB, Russ Hamilton, was able to steal all my money by looking at my hole cards, it took away my ability to pull the trigger. And forget the amount of money it cost me. I would pay $10 million for him to have never done that, because I was the most fearless player in the world, and I
agree.
I mean, Phil will tell you he feared nobody more than me.
Yeah.
And so,
I mean, whether it's how you played or your attitude on the table.
I was the Alex Foxton chance.
I was watching that when you were up against someone in a hand. I'm like, God, I fucking feel bad for only because like.
Well, I just knew what they had. I always knew what they had, I was never afraid to put them in a blender. You know, now with the GTO solver, everybody, you gotta play kind of unorthodox. Yeah. To put them in a blender.
Let me see if you remember this hand. You shoved on someone. It might have been early day 5, and they said, Mike, I should.
When I had the tens.
They go, hey, Mike.
And the guy had the king queen.
Mike, I should have shoved on you.
I
forgot who you were up against, but I mean, you guys both. He had you beat, but you shoved, and then he goes.
Well, he had king queen. He had a king. The board was ace high, and he had a king, and I had tens, and I check raised jammed on him. Is that the one? You mean the one when I told him the kid he gave us down the street?
I think it was that hand, and he goes,
the biggest hand from the 05 World Series that'll never get shown, and I talk about it all the time, is a hand against a good friend of mine, Farzad Banyadi.
Okay.
And I was first in chips. He was third in chips on day 5 or 6. There was like 5 tables left. I think it was day 6. And he raised, and I 3-bet him with 7 deuce off. And he called, and the flop came like, I don't even remember what it fucking came, but I bombed the flop. I bombed the turn. And the flush card hit on the river, and I moved all in. Now, we were first and third in chips. And I opened the clip 3-barreled against a guy third in chips. And he went in the tank for 8 fucking minutes. And I think I hit a deuce on the river, right? Didn't matter, right? And finally he says, will you show me if I fold? I said, well, if you call, I'll show you. And if you fold, I'll show you. Either way, I'm going to show you. After 8 minutes, he folded, and I turned over the 7 deuce offsuit. He then got up from his seat, and this is a fact. There was 4 or 5 people told me he was in the bathroom throwing up.
Get the hell out of here!
Well, think about it. We're first and third in chips. He would have had like 2.6 million of the 58 million in chips with like 40 something players left. But I was a sicko, man.
Now, Mike, listen, like I said, I could watch that 5 more times back. I want to ask you one more thing. Do you give respect to fucking Greg Raymer?
We are friends. We are friends.
I mean, to go back to back, I mean, he made it so deep. I think he made a costly mistake.
Well,
I think it was day 5 or day 4.
Well,
when he got booted out.
Well, 04, he only won the main event because I knew what his hole cards were. And if he doesn't hit a diamond, we were first and third in chips in that event too. And if he don't hit a diamond in that card, I wasn't even thinking diamond. I just said, I call this like 10x re-raise with fucking 9-7 of spades in 04. And I told myself, if he doesn't hit an ace or a jack, I'm fucking jamming on him. And so when I flopped a pair and he moved in, I went with my read because I didn't want to make the mistake I made in the 01 World Series when I knew Carlos was bluffing me. And if I make the call against Carlos, it was for like 85% of the chips. And I only had ace deuce of diamonds. But I ended up finishing 6th anyways. So I would have rather called there. He had queen 8 offsuit. And if I hold, I win the 0-1 main event. That was the most crushing thing that ever happened to me. So it took me, I cried in my room for 3 months after that
I believe it. I believe it.
Because my whole goal in life was to always win the main event. And now, I used to think now it's too big, it's impossible now, but I don't believe that anymore. Like, I'd cashed 3 years in a row, and I bubbled it this year from cashing.
Yeah.
And I didn't play my best. I actually I had 2 bad Adderall days in the 6 weeks at the World Series, and one of them happened to happen on day 3 of the main. And
these are things that a viewer's not going to know, right?
Yeah.
Like they're going to say, "Oh, well, Mike might be off his
But
game.
I got really, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll tell you what happens. I got really upset because day 1 I had a brutally tough table and played great. Like, I mean, beyond great. Day 2, I had the brutalest table. Like I just pro after pro after pro after pro after pro, and found a way to go to day 3 with 100 big blinds just by fucking playing my AA. I mean, day 2 is probably my best day of no limit hold'em I might have played in 10 years. And so now, going into day 3 with 100 big blinds, now you're just like, okay, you're going to get a good table draw. A good table draw is you got people with chips that are just playing tight, trying to cash, and you're able to run them over. Nope, I picked up fucking 5 pros at this table also, okay? And then when we busted 2 pros, we replaced them with 2 killers, right? And they were both high roller pros. And so now I couldn't open pots because everybody was defending late, and I couldn't do anything. And I bluffed off all my chips, but it worked out good because I went and registered for the 25K horse, got 5th for 186,000. So I would have had to get to day 7 of the main to pick up 186,000. So, and I could have won it for 850K. I kind of fucking made a mistake late or in the middle of day 3 in a pot, and probably cost me the tournament. But 5th was good. I'm a lot more aggressive now than I was. I'm not near as tight anymore. But there was something. Jungle Man put out a tweet. He said, if I was a nit, I could play my cards blind and just rob everybody, right? And so if I had a nitty image, and so I say straight up, I tweet back, I'm like, please don't teach everybody how I play poker, and let them keep playing solver and GTO, because I believe that if you set up an image, when the blinds go up, you could just do whatever you want. And so I don't, I did have a big stack in the deuce to 7 no limit this year, and I called this big raise, and he bet the river, and I moved in on him after I missed. Yeah. And I knew he had a 10, and he had a 10, and he called me. He goes, "Are you just using your image, Mike? I know you use your image a lot."
Exactly.
And he called me, but listen, I probably shouldn't have tried to bluff that person. He ends up getting 3rd, because of course he did, because I gave him all my chips. But that's why no limit deuce is such an amazing game. But anyways, appreciate the call. Appreciate the call about the World Series, and it's
Mike, one last thing I'm gonna say is we're here in 2023. We're going on 2024.
Mm-hmm.
I think I still listen. I think you could 100% compete with this field.
Oh,
why not?
I can compete with any field. I'm not
worried
about that. I don't need to run solvers and GTO to play against. Listen, you know what GTO and solvers work at? They work if you're sitting and playing in the Poker Go studio against the fucking 29 best players in the world. That's all that matters. Or GTO and solvers if you're playing online poker tournaments where you can't see anybody. That's just it. That's the only thing they work. You know, if you're playing big field, no limit hold'em, what do you think Phil made 9 top 15s in no limit hold'em last year? You know, you think he has he doesn't even know how to bet size. You know, if he actually listened to if he listened to me like he did with all the mixed games and think instead of saying I know everything, Phil would be one of the best no limit hold'em players. But he won't listen, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I mean, how about the softwares now that are countering the real-time solvers, where you can plug in a hand at the current time see if anyone looked a hand up. How about that?
Real time. You're talking about real time assistance. RTA.
The RTA. Yeah. And I think Phil Galfond was behind that, if I'm not mistaken, or he had a team behind that who created that. But a couple of sites that I played on, man, a lot of these guys who are finishing, you know, in these online tournaments were caught doing real-time
no shit. Listen.
And hey, Mike, guess what they would do? They would try to counter it by switching the suits. So they would try to do different suits, but it doesn't matter. The real-time solver.
Me and Daniel are best friends again, and we're very close. You know, we're not as close as we used to be, but we're good friends again. And when we weren't, I told him. You know, he's telling me all these pros that are making all the money on these big tournaments on GG, and I said nobody's making $10 million a month unless they're cheating. Okay.
Yeah.
And because it doesn't matter how much you can't on an online tournament. It's just there's too much luck involved unless you're cheating. Yeah. You know, and so
luck and variance.
Yeah, and so you know, it's like me and Brian Rass, we were talking for a long time the other day, and he's like, you know, Mike, I used to believe I was the best no limit hold'em player in the world, if not one of them. He goes, and I was. He goes, I was great at no limit hold'em, and then he brought up a famous player, and that famous player was somebody that he had staked for a while, and all of a sudden, like 3 years ago, he's having the same talk with that famous player, and they're talking and breaking down certain hands and the way they're breaking it down or whatever. And he's like, Mike, he goes, the guy is like 10x better than me now. He goes, the way they break down hands compared to the way I used to break is just mind-boggling. So I asked him, I said, when he said that to me, I go, should I study the solvers or the GTO, you know? And he said the same thing. He goes, Mike, if you're winning consistently and you don't plan on playing the best players in the world in the Poker Go studio, he goes, I wouldn't change anything. And he's right. And I feel that way. You know, if you learn GTO, you still have to apply it correctly. Even Chance said that the other day, right? He goes, yes, you can learn GTO and solvers, but if you don't apply it correctly and you don't, like if you're trying to apply it towards a regular 45-year-old, 50-year-old reg that's in a tournament, you know, that it's not going to do you anything. You know what I mean? And you still got to read. People are sitting there talking about, are live reads fucking underrated? What do you mean underrated? Like the reason why Alex Foxton and Chance are so good is not only do they know GTO, not only do they run the solvers, but they play from the heart, and they play and they play with feel. And the best players in the world are always the feel players. You know, say what you want about
Chance Corneth, great live player.
Great, you know? Say what you want about Bryn Kenny. Bryn Kenny, I guarantee you, has never ran a solver in his life. Okay, guy plays from the heart. What's that?
I hope not.
No.
I hope not. You know, like.
No, I mean, I know that. You know, no, I'm not saying all the shit that was said about him wasn't true. You know, I had a talk with him. He denies it all. You know, and whatever. But I do know one thing. He's got pure raw talent, and when I finished 9th in the stud 8 or better, he got 2nd, right? And the guy who won it was telling me how bad Bren was playing, right? I'm like, no way, right? And so after he won it, I said, well, how'd Bren play? He said he played great. I said, I told you. Even when he was at our table, he played really good. Sometimes when you see somebody misplay one or two streets, they always compare their A game to somebody's, like, when they make a few mistakes. But Bryn Kenny is probably top 5, top 4 stud players in the world. Stud 8, he's not as good as, but he plays all the games good, and that's why when all that cheating stuff came out about him, I was really disappointed, and I let him know that too, because it's like, when you're as good as he is, like, why would you need to do that? But when GG was playing you all this money and rake and all this stuff that you just put lots of people in, greed is as you know in the world, is a bad thing. And if everybody would have more belief in God and live life, whether you're religious or not, I always say it, just follow the 10 Commandments, and the world there would be peace in the world. All the problems in the world are nobody follows the 10 Commandments. Yeah. I mean, think about it. Thou shalt not covet. That's the biggest thing they do on social media is covet. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. There's whatever, it's like, there's a reason why the 10 Commandments were put out there, man. It's like, just follow them, and you'll live a life as a good person.
You're following a man-made, script anyway. Might as well follow the 10 Commandments.
Yeah, well, if you believe it's man-made, or you believe it was handed down from God on Mount Sinai.
Exactly.
It depends what you believe.
I don't know. I'm just saying,
Right. Whether it was man-made or handed down by God, either way, if everybody lived life following the 10 Commandments, the whole world would be there'd be world peace. The world would be perfect. So even if you're not religious, just follow the 10 Commandments and live right. Treat people the way you want to be treated, That's all.
That's simple, but.
Yeah. Well, you don't have
all
to.
All right, Mike.
All right, man. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
You.
Peace.
Yeah, no problem.
Later. Well, you don't have to believe in God, man. I feel sorry for you if you don't. Doesn't mean you're not a good person. I just feel sorry for anybody who doesn't believe in God. Because I know there's a God. I would bet infinite amount of money there's a God. I can't tell you how I know, but I just know. All right. You can believe that. You can believe that all you want. I know during the toughest times, I know what I've seen. I know the visions I've seen. I know different things that I've seen. I'm a big believer in angel numbers. You look up different angel numbers. They all mean something. Whenever I see certain numbers, there's a reason. I believe there's an angels that watch over me every day, because if not, I'd have been dead 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I'd probably be paralyzed. And I wouldn't be the person I am today. So, I'm not religious, but I do believe in God. I go to synagogue twice a year. I'm going to start going more, only because I am appalled by the Jew hate going on in the world. And I think it's important to support the Jewish community right now. And, it's, I've never been religious. Yom Kippur, I always fast. I try and atone for my sins. I try and become a better person. And that's just it, man. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in a higher power, still doesn't mean you shouldn't try and become a better person. And like I said, even if you don't believe God wrote the 10 Commandments, or if you don't believe in religion, if you read the 10 Commandments and you follow them and everybody followed them, we wouldn't have the disaster world that we're living in right now. That's all right, man. What's up, buddy? How are you doing? And anyways, 702-329-0480. We'll take a couple more calls. And Let me see if my poker game's going tonight. That'd be nice to try and get back. What, I went back 10. I'm down 27,000 for the week. I hate losing, you guys. You know that? Nobody hates, well, Phil Hellmuth hates losing more than I do, but I hate losing.
I've lost once.
I hate losing. I hate losing. That's all I could say. Let's see. Oh, that's not my game. All right, let's get a call. Welcome to Mouthpiece. It's Mike. What's going on, my man?
What's up, Mikey? It's Gypsy Frank.
What's going, buddy? How you doing? Yeah, my game.
Not bad, man. How you been?
Good, Frank. Missed you, man. Haven't talked to you in a while. What have you been up to?
Yeah, it's been a minute. I was just I was thinking when you talked about punting the main event, I'm like, motherfucker, I had 10% of you in that bitch. I was hoping you'd cash.
Well, I had a bad med day. So, I'm very open when things happen, and I woke up and I got an IV in the morning, and I ate some food, and I was getting an IV every other day, which was really helping me. I mean, my whole World Series changed when I started getting IVs 2-3 times a week, because
I heard wonders about them.
Yeah, they're amazing. They just did wonders for me. And then I decided I was very tired, and because it was an early start, I took an extra half of Adderall, which was a big mistake. And it
what
made
does it have for you? You get 30, 10, 20?
15. So normally I wake up. Okay, so the first 2 weeks of the World Series, I take a quarter pill when I wake up, 7.5 milligrams, and then I take another 7.5 twice a day. Now, 2 weeks in, I'm at 15 milligrams when I wake up, and then another 7.5 milligrams twice a day. By the end of the World Series, they do sometimes. By the end of the World Series, I was taking 15 when I wake up, 15 when I got down there, and then an extra 15 and 15. I was up to 2 pills a day, which the doctors prescribed to me. And I took...
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to function.
I wish I would have just took the 15 and a quarter. Instead of... I went 15, 15... I went 15, and then I went 15, then I went another quarter.
What was your reaction? Do you feel it made you impatient or something?
It made me manic. And when it makes me manic, okay, I usually take like a half a Klonopin, and I'm fine. And what happened was, and I was able to kind of control it a little bit.
That's like kindergarten speedballing.
Yeah. What really bothered me was the fact I got a little manic was I was so, after playing the best day of my life in day 2 and getting 100 big blinds going into day 3, 100 big blinds going into day 3, if I get any decent table, like this one guy I know, George, told me he had a table that he was able to open 80% of the pots, and he had already chipped up to over 500,000, right? I couldn't open one pot and win a blind. I couldn't steal one blind, and so...
But if you're so deep, why were you so reluctant to play post flop versus those players and try to, exploit your?
Well, I never had a hand.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I was completely card dead, and even the hand that I bluffed it all off out. If I'm going to bluff it all off, I just got to c-bet the flop. I flop nut flush draw. I'm just going to win it on the flop. Instead, I checked the flop. Then a club came on the turn. The guy.
Going for a check raise?
No, I was on the button. Both blinds called, and the flop came. Flop came Jack 10-8 with 2 hearts, and I had ace deuce of hearts. And with both of them calling, small blind and big blind, that's supposed to hit both of them. You know what I'm saying? So, but I still should have bet the flop, man. If I checked, but it's okay.
Small blind, I don't mind you checking there, honestly.
No, the check was fine if I didn't. But then the guy in the big blind leads out, right? And he sized big. And I'm like, well, this guy doesn't have anything, right? And so I call.
Either that or you have 2 pair, a hand that's very
well, now listen, so I call, and now backdoor clubs gets there, and he bets small, and I moved in on him. and he had the clubs. Hold on one second. I've got to get this call. Hold on 1 second, guys. Hold on. All right. Did you quit or are you still playing? Dude, I know, but I want to talk to you. I'm doing my podcast right now. Are you done? Okay, good. I'm going to call you soon. I'm doing the podcast. All right?
Will he talk to us on the podcast?
Oh, no, I don't want him to have to talk. He's just got done playing.
Yeah, he might say some shit you don't want everyone to hear.
Yeah. So he had king 5 of clubs. So I read him as weak on the turn, which was right. But when he sized small on the river, I went for it. And I bluffed him off. I bluffed off all my chips that day. I just was so impatient because I was so frustrated that I couldn't pick up any blinds. And the fact that we busted 2 pros and replaced them with 2 high roller pros really had me tilted. So, I feel it happened for a reason. I won 186,000 because I did it. So,
good shit, man.
It's not the worst of things, but I don't like punting off the main event. I hadn't done that since 06. So, like the year before when I bluffed off all my chips, they could say it was a punt. That wasn't a punt. That was a perfectly executed fucking bluff.
No, I watched that hand the other day actually on YouTube, and you're 100% repping Full House there. Like he cannot. I don't think he's supposed to make that call because of the fact that you had such little chips behind to make that rejam.
Of course, I have no bluffs. I have no bluffs.
It looks so much stronger.
Dude,
exactly.
I just have no bluffs.
3.54x there. It makes it look like, well, there's
by the way,
there, but
everybody at the table but the guy who called me was 100% sure I had a full house. Yeah.
I think he was just I don't know who he is. I don't know.
Well, he made different excuses. First he made an excuse that he could tell I wanted to win that pot real bad. And then another excuse was, well, I don't know. He made 3 different types of excuses, of why he called me. The bottom line was he had like 1.8 million in chips, and I said this guy has 0 chance to win the tournament, and he finished like 159th. Okay, because if you can't make that fold to me, a guy who's turned over quads and a full house, the only 2 hands I've turned over. And I'm playing super tight. Oh, that was his other excuse. Oh, well, he saw me raise with 10-8 of hearts and barrel the flop and barrel the turn when it came an ace-high board. Oh, wow, you saw me rep an ace when I raised middle position and an ace flop. That was one of his excuses. But that was another thing, and I told Maury, I'm like, we're playing for all this money, and it's not on live TV on ESPN like it used to be. Like, why do we have to have a fucking half-hour delay? Why is it just make it a 3-hour delay? Why should anybody at your table know how you're playing? It's just a disadvantage. It's just not fair. I was going to win my political shirts. Next year, I'm going to wear all the fucking anti-fucking left shirts there are with F words on it. I'm going to have cuss words on my shirts made up so fucking they don't move me to a fucking TV table. Because
that's not a bad idea.
That's just the same reason why I don't play on these streams, Like, I don't understand, like, why does everybody want to play on streams? To show everybody how good they are, Like, I don't want people to know how I play poker. The people that want to play on streams is their egos. They want to show everybody how great they are, Now,
like we had a legal room here. It got shut down, but they would run a stream once weekly, and I played on it a couple times just because it seemed fun. But I get it. That's the only reason, because it was a tough lineup, honestly. I probably can't beat the game consistently. Mm-hmm. I just did it because it was fun.
Now, I'm able to play. I could go play the Hustler Casino stream anytime I want, right? And I play it once a year, sometimes twice a year, or whatever. And but it's like I do that for Ryan because I really like him, or whatever. Now Phil really wants me to come to Houston and come play the stream tomorrow and Sunday and Monday. They've been playing it a lot Thursday, Friday. And I really want to go for Phil, but it's just so hard to travel for me. It's so hard when I fly over 3 hours, the pressure on my back from my spinal cord, I'm just in terrible pain. And I'm just like, it's just hard. It's just hard for me,
How big is the game?
Oh, they're playing 50, 100, 200, whatever. But
you could fucking do that local there, though, right?
But it's playing with the same people I play with, like three of the people I usually play on the app with. So it's like, they wanted me to play, and I want to go. I still want to go, and I still might get up in the morning and go, but it's hard for me. But I never understood people that want to go play on all these streams to what? Show everybody how good you are? Now, there's a lot of players, and most of you guys know everybody knows who they are, that these people play on streams and they play 70, 80% VPIP and they play like lunatics so they could get invites to all the private games where they could fucking just roll people over,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can't do that. I can't hustle, okay? I cannot be a hustler. I can never do what Airball does, what Keating does, what a lot of these guys do, and pretend like they're action players, and then they get in a private game and never play a hand. I respect them. I respect them, but I can never do it.
Do those games still exist that are that huge online, like with whales and shit?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was watching this high stakes GG poker stream yesterday, where they're playing 500, 1,000, 2,000 no limit hold'em. Who would be that stupid to play? I mean, they could break into the Pentagon. You think they can't break into the?
Bro, yeah, that's the first thing I was gonna get ready to say. Like, you literally think there's no business going on in that fucking game? You got to be out of your
dude. I know there is, dude. Like, even back in the day when they were running the big PLO games, right? They were all equity chopping the guy they built the game around, Guy Liberté.
They did that to Liberté for sure.
No, I know they did. And then they're like, well, it's not cheating. Well, it is cheating when the guy.
That's fucking cheating.
I mean, when the guy has the nuts or whatever, and like 4 of you guys call, and let's just say you have 18% equity. Everybody's got 18. How the guy's going to win when everybody's calling?
Exactly.
And then they would.
Why would you ever fold against it?
And then they would transfer whatever part of the equity of the hand they had back to them on the transfers. I thought it was disgusting. I thought it was pure cheating back in the day, and there's a lot of players that got rich doing that. And but I will never. I don't want to bring up names, but I thought it was disgusting. And when I see these big GG poker high limit games, I'm just asking myself, like I could probably make phone calls to some of the best hackers in the world, and I could say, listen, forget hacking. Let's hack into this and get the. I guarantee you that.
Bro, it's not that.
If they could break into the Pentagon, they could fucking break into fucking. I mean, I would never cheat or ever do that, but I'm just saying, like, they kill people in 7-Elevens for $40 fucking, man.
Exactly. You're talking about life-changing money. Yeah. Like, look at fucking Justin Bonomo. There were so many, like, when I came up online.
Dude, he used to fucking multi-account. He did all kinds of shady shit.
Yes, and then people would fucking sell their stacks, like if they ran deep in a tournament, and they would do an ICM fucking deal.
I didn't know any about that till about a year and a half ago. So like the thing that I found out, like bring Kenny stable. This is what I was heard, right? Like he'd have certain people, they get deep in a tournament, then they'd have their top player in PLO, their top player in No Limit take over when they, you know what I'm saying? And that's why it's a fucking travesty. The World Series of Poker is giving out World Series of Poker bracelets. Like all these kids come to town, they rent a house together, they all sit in the same fucking house playing tournaments, and when somebody gets deep together, they got 10 of them watching, and they probably have like 7 different guys looking up all the information.
Yeah, even if they're not intending to cheat or whatever, if you have someone influencing you, like, oh, he's like 6 of 7 opening his button here, I'd rebet. Do you know what I mean? That's
or just
outside
like
influence.
Well, and how about like when Jeremy Osmus, like it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, said there's no way the guy that beat me for this bracelet head up was the guy they said it is. Somebody was 100% ghosting his account, right? They were playing the 7777 entry. He got head up with a guy who had like 2,000 in lifetime earnings, right? And sure enough, the World Series of Poker, they kicked him off of the platform, and it was known that he cheated. But like, I don't know why Jeremy doesn't. They never came out with details except for the guy was taken off the platform, and I felt Jeremy should have got the bracelet, like, you know. But how are they giving them? They don't care. It's about money. Everything's about money. Obviously. Like, but why? Why can't they just have a separate category? WSOP online bracelets. Like, why did they put all the data together? Like, not to knock, what's his name, like Ryan LaPlante. He's a good player or whatever, but he's like one of the top all-time cashers at the WSOP. He plays only online. You know, it's like, how do you destroy the sacred records of the World Series of Poker by adding online events? You know, just like with Best All Around. Like the guy who won Best All Around last year, right? He had like 10 of his caches and his bracelet and online. Like, I'm grinding every day at the World Series, and the only way you could play online and grind at the World Series is if you're holding a computer with you and multitasking, like Sean Deeb was doing. You know, there's no way.
Difficult in itself. Like,
there's no way online fucking tournaments should count towards Best All Around ever.
I agree.
They shouldn't even count for
I don't
bracelets.
Think the 100Ks and shit shouldn't either.
Yeah, none of them should either. I agree. You know, agree, 100%. But
I mean, that's you could voice your opinion as much as you want. You're never going to change shit like that because it's all about their bottom line.
You know, when Doug Polk put out a list of the top 100 best poker players of all time. And I thought it was a joke list because out of the 100 best poker players all time, I think 10 of them know how to play anything but No Limit Hold'em or PLO. If you don't know how to play all the poker, if you can't play all the games at a high limit, at a high level, you're not considered anywhere as the best poker player of all time. You're not considered anywhere. Could say one of the best No Limit Hold'em players.
Should have been top 3 on that list personally.
Well, Sean Deeb's one of the best tournament all-around poker players in the world.
Yeah, I don't know how he plays cash, honestly.
He plays way too many hands, and he's
a fucking crusher, bro. You can't argue.
I want to play mixed game cash with Sean Deeb in every game there is. Yeah, and I love Sean Deeb, and I'm the biggest Sean Deeb fan. Nobody's a bigger Sean Deeb fan than me. I think he's a once-in-a-generation talent. I think he's probably the best all-around tournament player in the world. And you know, but there is games that he still has some flaws. You know, I watched him have a massive stack in Stud 8, and I watched him punt it off. And he just never slows down, which, you know, gets him a lot of chips, but it also, you see him with a lot of chips, and he also gives away a lot of chips. You know, I think that if I had Sean Deeb's talent to accumulate chips, and he had my talent to know when to pull back the reins and understand the value of the big bets a little bit more, I think Sean Deeb would fucking have 10 bracelets already, maybe more. And he really is the only one with a legitimate chance to catch Phil, in my opinion.
I agree 100%. I believe he will, but this was a stat.
No, he won't catch Phil because I taught Phil all the mixed games, and now Phil plays the mixed games at a high level, and Phil's going to consistently, you know, pick up bracelets. You know, the thing is like I made 3 final tables last year, including back to back. You know, you got to make hands at final tables. You know, I was head up and I gave it away. I'm not gonna lie, I gave it away. You know, and it's hard to deal with when you give it away.
And I wanted to say something to you honestly, and I don't mean this with any offense or from, like, I'm not saying it from a point of superiority or anything, but if you look at like your cash history from your final tables, like I haven't seen many top 3 finishes, and if you look at Sean's, when he final tables, like more than 70% of the time he's winning it. So obviously there might be some leaks that you need to patch.
Well, the thing is in the mixed games, it doesn't matter. Whoever catches cards wins. It doesn't matter. Okay. Especially,
I don't know anything about mixed games.
Okay.
Like PLO and Hold'em.
But in PLO, Sean finishes. I mean, him and Josh Aria are amazing PLO tournament players. You know, like fucking Aria.
I don't know if Josh is that. He's just on a fucking heater.
He's on, like, listen. I love Josh.
He's obviously
he knows
like God.
He knows what he's really good at. Okay, like at the final table, he ran like God. You know, I fucking said if I got enough chips to battle him at the final table, I was gonna get him. And unfortunately, I made a small mistake in a hand where I folded. And if I hold that hand, I'm back to 10 big bets. But Josh made every hand at that final table. He'll be the first to tell you. He goes, he never ran better at any final table. You know, he had 1 big blind in the limit hold'em. Like, he literally wanted to play until they were head up so he could late reg the Omaha 8 the next day. And they came back, and he came back he doubled up from 1.5 bets to 3 big bets. And he came in the next day with 3 big bets. Deck hits him in the face, and he wins the limit hold'em.
Yeah, that's freaking wild, man.
And like, even I was down to less than a big bet in both my stud 8 or better, and the one I finished second and the one I got 9th. You know, I mean, I had literally 12,000 in chips, which was 1 big bet. And when we went on break, and I signed up for the PLO 8, which is my best game, and on the break, I just went in. I went all in dark, and you start with like 7,500 in chips. I had 50,000 in chips, right? And played like a maniac. And so there's a lot to it. When you play super fast, you put a lot of pressure on people, and so then I went back on the break with 1 big bet. And I should have took this one guy wanted to give me 50 to 1 on the last longer. He had 840,000 in chips, and I had 12,000. And I finished 9th. He finished 12th. Okay, because he never slows down either. That guy never slows down either. But you know, the truth of the matter is, even though I only had 1 big bet, I was only all in. I was never all in at risk. In other words, when I was all in, they were drawing dead. You know, like I had 1.5 big bets, so I called the raise on 3. I called a small bet on 4, and on 5, I'm all in. And I had like either a flush made on 5 or a straight 7 made. Like, I was never all in at risk, except for one time, and I got lucky once.
That's pretty solid.
So, but I understand things.
Brother, it was good talking to you. I'm going to get off, man.
You got it, man.
You.
Have a good one. Take care. Thank you. Have a great weekend. All right. We'll take one more call if we get one more call. 702-329-0480. If not, let's see. We have Michigan tomorrow. They're playing Iowa. They're 22-point favorites with a line of over-under of 35. How you like that one? So you know the bet is Michigan and under. Do you have enough balls to parlay it? The Michigan and under? Lay 22, under 35. I mean, Iowa's going to score 10, probably. 25-10 covers. 24-10. No, that doesn't cover. What am I saying? 30 what it's 22. Wait, the total is 35. Yeah, 35. And 24-10. That's only win by 14. What am I talking about? So they don't think Iowa's scoring more than 7. So that would be to cover 22, 30-7. Or I don't even know how they have that fucking line. I think I saw 22 and 35. Seems impossible. They just don't think they could score more than 7, I guess. Well, 28-7, that's 35. Maybe they think Iowa's going to score 6. Interesting. I don't know, man. Plan something for Christmas live stream. Okay, we could do that. Since I don't celebrate Christmas.
I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you do. Sorry. Never mind. Can't do that. Yeah, Sean is great in mixed games, man. Sean's a great player. Great tournament player. You know. But I don't know. In cash games, I think he plays too fast. You know. But what do I know? I just know he's a once-a-generation talent. I'll never fucking take him for granted. That's why I spent 2 weeks studying the fucking playing for that 10,000 head-up match. And I'm going to ask him, matter of fact, we have to have a rematch because I'm going to beat his ass again. And he's going to over-adjust. I know exactly what he's going to do. So I'm looking forward to that. Phil Ivey is still, I think, the best all-around player I ever played with because Phil Ivey was great in all games in tournaments and all games in live. He didn't have a weak game. His weakest game was Omaha 8 or better. Played too many hands. But that was it. All right, let's take this last call. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike, this is Steven.
Steven.
From Wisconsin.
What's up, buddy? How are you?
Doing all right. I've been watching the show, enjoying it.
Nice, nice. How did you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Spent family time, you know.
So,
Figured
go ahead.
give you a call and ask you what do you think about Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers this year?
Well, they got a great defense. They've always had. I mean, they've got the highest paid defense in the NFL. Okay, they did trade away Douglas to the Bills, and he's been really good for the Bills. But that
surprised me.
But you if you watch, see, this is why they fired the guy in Carolina. Bryce Young has not improved 1 week this year. Okay, you watch. You watch a superstar being born in Texas with Stroud, right? You watch
out of nowhere.
I mean, well, I thought he was. I watched the game against Michigan, not against Michigan in the semifinals where they lost 42-41, where he played the game of his life, and I said, "This guy, I'm taking him over a 5'9" Bryce Young. I don't give a fuck." And he played great, and that's what he's looked like this year. And Jordan Love, first 2 weeks he was good, and then the next 4 or 5 weeks, 4 weeks he would look horrible, and the last 4 weeks he's gotten better and better and better and better. He's thrown for over 300 yards. 3 weeks in a row now? I love the Packers +6. I mean, I just do. I don't know. Like Phil Hellmuth's bet pick of the week is Kansas City, but Phil Hellmuth always takes every favorite. That's why he's like in the top 5 in our league, because last week when 13 favorites, 1 and covered, you know, it's like Phil's never took a dog as his pick of the week. I don't think in his life, you know, and he loves Kansas City, and I don't. I don't believe listen. 11 weeks into the season, Kansas City's offenses look like shit for 11 weeks. Now, because they scored 31 against the fucking Raiders, you know, the same Raiders that a backup quarterback for the fucking Chicago Bears scored 30 against. Come on, you know. I just think, you know, I don't know.
The last two games, the Packers
listen,
played against the
if they really thought, if they listen, just remember, why do the bookmakers make the line 6, right? Why isn't it 6.5 or 7? They know, they want you to lay 6. You see a line out, there's a reason why that line is out, okay? Like when the line doesn't look right, it's usually not right. And that's why I had Oregon tonight, and I was wrong, right? Like, why was this line 9.5? Made no sense. I just figured that, listen, the bookies don't get rich fucking putting out bad lines. Just remember that. And so, like, everybody was shocked. Oh, my God. San Francisco's 2.5, 3 on the road in Philly. Well, there's a reason why they're 2.5 on the road in Philly. Or 3 now. They want... Listen, San Francisco's only played one bad game this year. Okay? The guy missed a kick against the Browns, or they win that game. The fucking Kirk Cousins game, where Kirk Cousins played the greatest game of his entire career before he fucking tore the Achilles. And then Purdy got concussed, and he threw the pick on the last drive of the game, but he was concussed. And they still could have won that game. And now they played the one bad game against Cincinnati, where Burrow probably played the best game of any quarterbacks played this year before his injury. And Purdy came back, the only quarterback this year in concussion protocol that was able to play that Sunday. And he played like he was concussed. And that was it. Other than that, Frisco has demolished everyone. And you can't tell me from your eyes. Like, there's this old saying, like last year, Minnesota was 13-4. They were the worst 13-4 team in history. Like, everybody and their mother bet the Giants, right? They had the worst defense ever. They went 11-0 in one-score games, never been done before. They won 4 games that were impossible to win, right? Well, if you watch the Eagles have been outgained in 5 straight games, or 4 of the last 5, and they've won them all. Just like Pittsburgh this year. Pittsburgh has been outgained, but last week was the first time they outgained anybody. In the first 10 games of the year, they were outgained, right? They were 6-4. That's never happened, and nobody's ever had a winning, not one team's ever even had a break-even record after 10 games, been 5-5. The worst record in history when being outgained the first 10 games was 3-7, right? So that's why I don't think much of Pittsburgh. Yeah, okay, they won a game against the Bengals last week, who had nobody. They have, they mailed it in.
They're boring to watch.
That's why. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards Arizona this week. I mean, how could you lay 6.5 points with this fucking team? Now, you could also look at it the other way. They fired the offensive coordinator, and they've had over 400 yards in offense for the first time since 2016. Since Antonio Brown and Big Ben, 2016, 2017, whatever it was. So what's that, 7 years?
Like 19 points or something?
Right. And they 400 yards of offense. And yeah, exactly. But that's got to mean something. You fire the offensive coordinator, you have your most yards in 7 years. So I don't know what to make of it. I don't trust the fucking Steelers to lay 6.5 points. I don't care who they're playing. I don't think they're 6.5 points better than any team.
Every game they're in, it seems to be close.
I know. Well, the Chargers are 4. The Raiders have a better record than the Chargers. And if they played on a neutral field tomorrow, the fucking Chargers would be 6. The Chargers lose every game because the coach is a complete idiot. How they didn't fire him last year.
Surprised he's not fired.
How does he not get fired when he blew a 27-0 lead against fucking the Jaguars? Like, I lost a $1,000 bet to Phil. I said, I bet $1,000 he's fired next week, 100%. And they didn't fire him. Like, they got what they deserve. Another wasted year of Herbert and all this talent because they didn't fire this coach. He's a fucking idiot. He's such an idiot.
Jeez, they got everything too. They got all the weapons on offense.
Yeah. He went from going for it on 4th down every time to a scared to ever go for it on 4th down. Like twice last week, he should have gone on fourth down. He punted. I don't know. They're. I mean, how could anybody lay as bad as the fucking Patriots have been? How could you lay 6 on the road, right? I mean, the Patriots have given up 10 points in back-to-back weeks and lost. Go look over lifetime teams that give up 10 points a game in the NFL. I bet you it's something like 950 and like 21. You just don't lose when you give up 10 points. They lost back-to-back weeks. I mean, their offense is so bad, But the Charger defense sucks. I'm sure they'll make the fucking Patriot offense look good. They're 4-7. The fucking Chargers are 4-7. They literally have to run the table with any hope, and they ain't gonna do it.
I really actually had high hopes for them this year. I expected to make the next step.
The Bills have to run the table. They're not going to get in 10-7. I don't think. I just can't believe the Bills. The Bills are so good. They literally punted off. Well, I know 3 games they punted off. The Jets, the Denver game, and last week. That's 3. So at worst, they should be as 9-3. I think they punted off another game somewhere. The Patriot game. The Patriot game. They punted off the Patriot game. They scored 7 points. That's right. The Patriots who beat nobody. They've given away 4 games. Gift. It's crazy. Yeah,
work told me today.
Jordan Love's looking good to me. I like the 6 this week. I'm putting them in my circa picks. We'll see.
No. Last 2 times Packers and the Chiefs played, I think Jordan Love played one of them. I think Rodgers might have won one, and then Jordan Love lost one that should have been close.
The bottom line is the Packers defense is playing well, and they're 100 times better. The Raiders beat the Packers, okay, but that was when Jordan Love was struggling. They scored 15 points that game, right? And this is they're. I don't know. Is Jones back for them this week or no?
That I'm not sure.
That's kind of important.
Probably bet he's out.
Dylan played really well last week. Like the only reason why I didn't make a big bet on the Packers last week is because Jones was out and Dylan was out, and then Dylan ended up playing and he played well. If they run the ball good and Jordan, I don't know. I like the Packers this week. Phil likes the other side. I'll probably get him for 500, but who knows? But anyways,
All right, we'll see. I'm going for the Packers, but Mike, you have a good rest of your night.
You got it, man. If you're betting any football, I love Frisco this week. Love them first half. Love them game. But I'll tell you what, if the Eagles win this week, there's no doubt in my mind the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl. If they could win this week after going Kansas City, Buffalo back-to-back weeks, and then go to Frisco, literally probably the 3 best teams in football, and you win all 3,
agreed,
you're going to the Super Bowl. But I don't think they're going to win. But we'll see. And I still think they're going to the Super Bowl. All right, my man. Have a great weekend.
Only quarterback to beat the Eagles is Zach Wilson.
The Jets.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. The Jets, the only one to beat the Eagles. But the Eagles could easily have 5 losses. Like, look at the both games against Washington they could have lost. How Riverboat Ron in the first game doesn't go for 2. When you score on the last play of the game, you don't go to overtime on the road. You go for 2. You make it. You win. You don't. It changed their whole season, by the way. And then they lost, but they had a chance against the Eagles in the other game. They had Eagles down by 10. I mean, you can't get down by 10 in the NFL week after week and keep coming back and winning. It's not possible. I mean, if you go look at teams' lifetime or something like 79% with a 10-point lead at halftime, and the Eagles are 100% down by 10 this year. It's been 5 times. If breaks even, I think the Eagles are in trouble tomorrow on Sunday. But I've been wrong before. I like the fact the fact I'm 11-2 on my pick of the week. So, that's a pretty good percentage. I don't think I've ever done any better in my life. So, feels pretty good. All right, man. Have a great weekend. Thanks for calling.
Yep, you
Peace.
too. Thanks, Mike.
You got it, bud.
Enjoy the pod.
Thank you. All right, guys. Let's see. We have Texas and Oklahoma State tomorrow, Michigan, Iowa. What else do we have tomorrow? Pac-12 was tonight. Oh, Alabama, Georgia. That should be a good game. I mean, what are the committee going to do if Alabama beats Georgia? I mean, they could beat Georgia. They're their smallest dog on the field. They're only 6-point dogs. I mean, why? Because Alabama lost a game early in the year when they didn't have a quarterback to Texas. Well, they should have lost last week. What were they? They were 1% to beat Auburn last week. But if they beat Georgia, you cannot take the SEC champ and hold them out of the playoffs. You just can't. You just can't. And even though Travis is out for Florida State, if they win and they go 12-0, they played like top 5 toughest schedules. They're just in. So Washington is in for sure. Florida is in. Florida State is in with a win for sure. Michigan is in for sure. And so that just leaves one last spot. Now then Texas is going to say, well, how can you put a one-loss Alabama in front of us when we beat Alabama? Think about that. And do you think they're going to leave the SEC out? This is an unbelievable dynamic. As long as Georgia wins, now you got 4 undefeated teams in the Final Four and nobody can say anything. But if Alabama beats Georgia, what the fuck are they going to do? Tell me, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? There's no way if Alabama beats Georgia, they can't put Georgia in front of fucking Alabama. Alabama just beat them. That means that Alabama would have won every game in the SEC, and Georgia would have lost one. Alabama's only losses to Texas. I just think you got to go with a one-loss Alabama if they win. I don't care. It's going to be fucking crazy. Can you imagine? Texas wins. They're like, well, we fucking beat the shit out of them, which they did beat the shit out of them. Wow. I'm voting for chaos tomorrow. Everybody else rooting for chaos tomorrow? I am. I want Alabama to win, and I want to see what the fucking committee does. They can't put Georgia in ahead against Alabama. They'll be like, well, Georgia won the regular season. What does regular season mean? They lost to Alabama. I don't think Georgia's going to lose to Alabama, but they could. Alabama only came flat last week because, Auburn. It's so funny. Auburn comes flat the week before, loses by 27 as a 27-point favorite to New Mexico State because they were looking forward to the Iron Bowl. Then they fucking kicked the shit out of Alabama, and somehow they rushed 2 and put 9 people in coverage in the end zone. Why would they ever do that? Just rush fucking 4 or 5 and fucking keep everybody back there and knock the ball down. It's 4th down and 23 at the 30-yard line. It's insane that Alabama won that game. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Hopefully I'll pull out and bounce back and have a winning week in poker. And I will tweet out if I go to Houston tomorrow morning and play on the stream. Phil really wants me to go. So does a bunch of other people. I really want to go. It's just hard with my fucking health. See you guys next week on the Mouthpiece.
The Mouthpiece.